Okay, so I just want to go over a little bit of the vocabulary here. And you can write this, or I just want to read it to you. The Pythagorean theorem, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the areas of the squares on the other two sides. So again, it's A2 plus B2 equals C2. The hypotenuse is the longest side of the right angle, opposite the right angle. The leg, the sides whose vertex form the right angle of a right triangle. So if we look here, okay, this is the right angle here. This is one of the legs. This is one of the legs. So this is what forms the right angle. And if you look at the right angle across, that's the C. If you look at the leg, or you look at the A, which is probably better, the capital A of that angle, and you go straight down, that's A. And then if you look at B, and it goes straight across, and sorry, my lines are like kind of crappy, but that is B, okay? So that is what it's saying. This is the right angle, okay? And remember, the right angle is 90 degrees, all right? So inside here, if you look at this whole thing inside, this is A squared. This is B squared. And you can see the lines. And then the hypotenuse is the C squared. So I'm going to say A is going to be like that pretty blue. And then I'm going to say that the B is going to be the pink. Okay, just so you can keep it straight. All right. And then the C, let's see what we got here. Yellow. And then if we pull the yellow in, this is the C. Okay? And if you combine A and B, you get the C. All right? Remember, if you have any question, ask your teacher. So now we're going to look at how to solve. So we went over some of the vocabulary, some of the terms, and hopefully that helps you understand. All right? So here we have, we're going to draw the arrow A. So we know that's A. Then we're going to draw the arrow, and that's the B. And then when you go across, that's the C. And this is way, if they don't tell you what A, B, and C is, this is the way to figure it out, okay? So now that we know that A is this side and B is this side, then we're going to write the formula. So 4 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. So 4 to the second power, or 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times to the second power, or 3 times 3 is 9, equals C squared. So 25 equals C squared. Or if we take the square root of C squared, square root of 25, then we know the square root, and you're going to have to use a calculator, 5 equals C. So the length of the hypotenuse is 5. Okay? So that is the hypotenuse. And I'm going to write it again. Hypotenuse length equals 5. All right? And I'm going to pull it up so you can copy it a little bit. And you know what? I'm actually going to color code this a little bit more. So the B we know is pink. And just so you know, this is how you get your numbers. Okay? And then C is what we do the math with. Okay? So now we know that A is we're going to do this. And that's A. And then we're going to use B. And that's B. and then C is C, okay? Now, we're gonna check our work. And this is what they call the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. If the square of the hypotenuse equals the sum of the squares of the legs, then it proves if or it isn't a right angle. So if A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then we know that we have a right angle. So A squared, so 4 squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. Now I'm going to put a question mark there because we're not sure. But if we do 4 times 2 is 16, 3 squared, and remember you can use the calculator. 3 times 3 is 9, 5 times 5 is 25. Again, a question mark. We're not sure. 16 and 9 is 25. Oh my goodness, it equals. So we know that since they are equal, this is a right triangle. Yay! Okay, now what I'm going to do is, since you have the formula, and I'm going to put it up here, A squared plus B squared, let me see if I can make my 2, equals C squared. Now, I'm going to give you a few minutes, and I'm going to have you do the side ones by yourself, and then I want you to check your answers, okay? Okay, now this one, the first one on the right, we are figuring out what is the length of the hypotenuse, which is C. So remember, and I'm going to use my eraser, you have A, so you're going to draw your line so you know A is 16. You're going to take your line from B to the other side so you know that's B. So plug in A and B equals C plus. A squared is 16 squared. 12 squared equals C squared. 16 squared is 256 plus 12 squared is 144 and equals C2. These two together combine for a sum of 400, which equals C2. So the square root of 400 and the square root of equals the square root of C squared. So the square root of 400 using your calculator is 20. So 20 equals C. Okay? Now, this one, they gave us A, but B we didn't know, and C we do know. So again, we're going to use A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And it's going to go 6 squared is A, B squared is unknown, so it's B squared equals 10 squared. So 6 times 2 is 36 plus B squared equals 100. So then we're going to do it like a multi-step equation. We're going to subtract 36 from each side, and we bring down the B squared equals 100 minus 36 equals 64. Then the square root of B2 equals the square root of 64, so B equals 8. So you just switch around how you use the theorem or the formula. Now here, is it a right triangle? Like, is this right here a right triangle? So we know that A is 5, B is 5. So 5 squared plus 5 squared, does it equal 72 or 7 squared? Excuse me. 5 squared plus 5 squared, does it equal 7 squared? We don't know, so I put a question mark here. So 5 squared is 25, 5 squared is 25. So 25 plus 25 equals 7 squared is 49. So does 25 plus 25 equal 49? We don't know. So does 50 equal 49? No, it doesn't. So we're just going to say does not equal, and it's not a right angle. All right, that's all there is to it. Have any questions? Let us know. Hope this helps.